Okay, so I guess the best place we can really start, I guess you could just go through the story of like how you've met, like how you came to know Dylan, and I guess how the you came to know about his
That whole early
exploits.
saga, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Um, so how me and my husband came to meet Dylan. So we were actually friends with Dove the tranny.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so we had this friend named Lex who was friends with Dove, and of course, like, I guess the big thing that you'll notice with like online communities is they have
Mhm.
multiple like Skype chats, Discord chats, and that's literally how just literally came to know these two. Lex introduced us to his friend Dove, and then Dove at some point had a chat with Dylan in it. And so we saw that there was like a voice call going on or a voice chat going on, and I think it was Skype at the time. And that's how we just came to know Dylan because I had met my husband through the commentary community, and at the time that we kind of met, that was when Dylan started having his breakup with Doodle Tones. And basically, Dylan got excommunicated from the commentary community. And I will admit that it was because of the Jim Medicare stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how we kind of came to meet Dylan was through Dove. Just Dove had him in one of their many, many Skype chats.
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, that's
Mm.
interesting story, and I did notice you mentioned doodle tones. Like, was there was there anything like you said it was a breakup? Like, was there anything like romantic there? Or because I mean, I know I've heard that name mentioned before in terms of the saga. I mean, that's honestly how Dylan got his thread was he was
Hmm.
challenging Medicare basically. So,
Honestly, it has to do with the fact that like most trans people like we're finding out more and more they're turning out to be well not only gay but they have internalized homophobia towards themselves. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Doodle Tones was gay or bi, but I know for a fact that Dylan probably is bi. For whatever reason, he just doesn't want to admit it. And I legit, like, how else do you describe when Dylan himself admits that he treats Doodle Tones better than his actual girlfriend? Like, I don't know anybody who's ever done that.
mhm.
And their falling out was literally like a lover's tiff, especially when he described how the falling out went. And it's like, so this was a lover's tiff. And the way that he legit like cried when 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 he dumped him, just I don't know, like that's how I can describe it. Like I think Dylan legit fell in love with Doodle Tones. Maybe in some dysfunctional way both of them were like romantically connected. Don't know. But I don't know, like the way he described how their friendship turned out, it literally felt like a whole boy meets girl type of situation.
Hmm. Yeah, I see, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting there. I mean, that does kind of support the theory that Dillin has a grinder account. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that kind of supports that. So let's see. You
Mm.
met Dillin through while he's going for that breakup, and I'm assuming it was on Skype in this case, or
Yeah.
kind of on Skype there. But anyways, like what was probably the like when you started like realizing Dillin was an idiot in this case?
um I think it was like the second or third time that he would ramble about something really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I really just started putting together like that's not how reality works. And mostly because like when I had met Dylan at the time, I think I was like 23, but I already had like my own apartment and I was going to school and I had my own job. And whenever I would talk about things um in regards to that, like just admit like I find it so tough to like pay the bills when all I want to do is just go out and party and stuff like that. But and then he wouldn't answer and he would just bring up how he finds it so annoying that he has to ride his bike everywhere because he doesn't have a driver's license. And that was like the first time I kind of like turned my head and looked at him like, the fuck? Because even at 23 and despite me scraping by, I still had a vehicle and all that shit. And I was like, you're riding your bike and you don't have a driver's license? And then we asked him, do you take the bus? Nah, I can't afford the bus. And I was like, what?
Hmm.
Like, really? You can't afford the bus? And it's like I've seen people who are in poverty take the bus everywhere. So I just thought that was just a really, weird answer. But whatever. I guess him using his bike as transportation, um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that was that.
Yep. So yeah, that is interesting because I mean he does say that he is broke, basically. Which I mean, let's be honest, even at the peak, he probably wasn't
Mhm.
pulling in that much money from his channel. I mean, even before then, they
No,
probably wasn't. And
no.
yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah, I mean that's interesting. I mean, he's either broke, like he's not making enough, or he's broke because he like is spending his money on Fortnite, which we've seen. It's been discussed on this thread
Yeah.
before.
How's it goes?
That's pretty good.
Good.
Tis I, Seti, or Cedric F.
Yep, I've spoken to you before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Mhm.
So is So I'm guessing Dylan's old inner circle's shattered. I'm guessing.
I don't think so. The only way I can describe it to you is that Dylan has a circle of secret friends
Yeah.
that he always goes running to whenever shit hits the fan, and because they're a big bunch of losers because I've actually met them
Yep.
and I've actually got to know them. Like these are the types of people that, they want to be victims. They will continue to be victims no matter how many suggestions you try to give to them, under the hopes that, maybe they can take your advice and improve their life a bit. That's the type of people that he hangs out with. And those are the
Mm-hmm.
people that I'm pretty sure he's still friends with to this day. and those
Yeah,
are the ones that keep him afloat.
that's what I'm asking about. The inner circle people. Because if I
Okay, so
recall, last time I was, because do keep in mind, I used to be in Dylan's server. I used to be the one guy that staked around, if you know what I mean, just being there.
so did you ever get a chance to meet them?
Uh, not really, but I've heard about it, and I've heard some people discuss about it. But I am well aware that he
Okay,
did have
then
an
yeah, then you.
inner circle.
Yep, they're still there because he keeps everything separate. Because the way that it works is that if he's having like a massive fight in a different circle of friends, he'll go to his main circle and
Hmm.
basically only tell his side of the story, and then they only believe his side of the story. And if they ever try to question him, then he can either throw a temper tantrum at them or excommunicate them. That's literally how he runs it.
Did you know that Dylan
This.
used? Did you know that
Go
Dylan
ahead.
tried? Did you know that Dylan tried using me as a mouthpiece? Hey, Cedric, could you try convincing the Kiwis not to do this and that? Post my side of the story on the Kiwi farms.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
I just
Yeah, that sounds
I
like him.
you know what I told him? I told him I'll
What?
do that. I'll do that. I'll do it. Don't worry. And I didn't do any of it. I didn't uphold my end of the deal.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to get a lot of puzzle pieces thrown at you on Kiwi Farms.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All I said was, "Okay, Dill. Okay, that's good." Hmm. And by the way, this is the same guy that
Oh, of course.
did not only ask me, but a whole bunch of other people to go to Jesse Pajama's server and like start shit with like True.
Hmm.
Yep, sounds like him.
And by the way, when I did go to Jesse's server, it was fucked though.
Hmm.
He was
Mm.
watching he was watching porn with a bunch of other people, and some of them are very questionable in age, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know. The commentary community is like that too, and which is why I didn't want to stick around any of those freaks because
Oh yeah,
they
no,
would
they
have,
watch porn with minors.
yeah, they have hentai nights, and it's like, who the fuck has hentai nights with minors? Like, what the
Oh no, no, no!
hell?
When I went in, it wasn't even hentai night. It was just they were just watching straight up like straight porn.
Oh my god.
Me and a buddy of
Yeah,
mine had to
that's
leave
fucked.
immediately because we got uncomfortable because when we heard some of the way that
Oh,
these
I
people were
know.
speaking, I hate to say this, they sound very young. I'm talking
Oh.
roughly 15, maybe 16 years old. That was
Hmm.
Jesse Pajamas. And Dylan, and by the way, Dylan enabled this behavior.
Well, of
Enabled it.
course.
Yeah, didn't Dylan used to hang around somebody who would just like randomly start masturbating in Skype calls or some shit like that?
Yeah,
That was
that's
Jesse
that's
Pajamas.
Dov.
That's
Oh my
Jesse.
god, Jesse. Okay, because the
No.
other person that did that too was Dove the tranny.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a reason why I didn't like hanging around Dove was because again, he would just
Creep.
randomly start masturbating and he tried to set up his camera in the shower and then we would just hang up the call and just not talk to him for days on end cuz it's like fuck off. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Like
And
what the hell?
oh, never forget that Dylan straight up said, guys, I don't like minimum wage work, okay? I want I don't want to be there anymore, okay? I don't want to go through the same experience that I did. And I'm just thinking, I'm sorry, but that's not how life is, bud.
Hmm.
You didn't go to college.
Which is funny. Yeah. Well, he
Well,
never
even
completed high school.
oh yeah, especially that. Yeah, at least have the courtesy of finishing high school. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but get your GED.
I know, but
But at the
he's
end of
too
the
lazy.
yeah, but at the end of it all I have to say is Dylan really fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he just kind of
Oh
pissed off like
yeah.
way too many people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I hate to say this,
Which is funny.
he really got under my skin when it comes to certain subjects. Like, I will say, I find it weird how he would do this thing at like 2 in the morning where he would watch cartoons.
Hmm.
But do keep
Interesting.
in mind, I'm talking 2 in the morning in Japan time, so it's 2 a.m. in Japan, and he's watching cartoons.
Mhm.
Let's see. What would that translate roughly to?
I think it's like 7, 8 a.m. or something like that.
Shit. Okay, like you just stay up like no sleep or anything because that's about the time that like normal people are waking up.
Well, do keep in mind, I'm in Japan. Time
Yeah.
zones doesn't really
Yeah.
line up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. If I recall, Dillin, Dillin after breaking up with Taylor, the VC was like Dillin was a bit how should it? He's very low energy. Like if you think Dillin could get any more low energy, he went all the way down.
hmm Yeah, I mean
He went all the way down.
he barely emotes in the first place.
And even if
Mhm.
he barely emotes, imagine him even further not emoting, like more monotone than ever, like super monotone.
Oh, I
That's
think
how
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
he
that
achieved that when he broke up with Taylor.
yeah, that'd probably drive
You
me
know,
insane to listen to.
when he talks so without emotion and he talks like this all the damn time, like somebody maybe
Mhm.
zapped all the energy out of the room.
Okay, so
Like
you've heard
imagine
it
that,
too.
Yes, I've heard it plenty of times.
Oh wow.
guys. Guys, I don't even know what I'm like.
I
I'm
will
talking
say
that
that
time.
his. Oh, okay.
And
I will
not only that,
admit
he also
when he was with Meme actually is the only girlfriend that I think forced him to keep like a routine. Like she actually made him go to bed and made him like stick to like a schedule of some sorts. Cause she would just straight up say, "Well, then I'm not talking to you, or I'm not letting you see me naked, or some shit like that."
I
Shit.
remember Dylan accusing Taylor of breaking his stuff after he moved back to Oklahoma. He
Okay.
accused he accused her of destroying his property because apparently he moved out in such a rush that a lot of the stuff that he had he left behind. Like his guys, I accidentally left behind my Nintendo Wii, and I think Taylor might have destroyed it.
I mean, if you left that much
And
shit behind, you might have gotten thrown out there.
I
But
I,
mean,
but yeah, let's kind of get back on track with the interview here. So
yeah,
you kind of
yeah.
so yeah, you know Dylan, you've interacted with him some, and you notice that he's kind of acting like an idiot, and he's just like ranting about random stuff. And he doesn't have a car. You know that kind of strikes you as well. So where does it go from there?
Well, I think the other big red flag was when he just flat out admitted that he didn't have his high school diploma. That was like a really eye opener. And whenever we would ask him, like, okay, why didn't you finish school? He always changed the answer.
Hmm.
When my husband asked him, he told my husband, the reason why I didn't want to stay in high school anymore was because I wanted to make Sonic videos. And then when he told me why he didn't want to go back to school, he used the excuse that his friend got killed in front of the high school. Like his friend got ran over in front of their school and he was traumatized.
Hmm. So yeah,
To
that's a
which I don't believe that because I actually did look into that because if I was good because the last time he was in school was 2014 and considering that like Dylan was like, what, 19, 20 years old back in like 2016, 17. It's like he would have been somewhere around sophomore or junior year.
And he bailed out of high
And
school.
yeah. And I
That
actually
is
looked up any obituaries from like any young man from that area, and there was none. The only obituary that came up for like a teenager was a teenager who got killed in a farming accident, and that was it.
sounds like he keeps telling a
So
different story, like
yeah.
how he told some of us, like how, oh, I just didn't, oh, I stopped going to school because I'm poor. So it's all over the place, man.
However, the one thing that did ring true was when he admitted that in 2014 he finally got introduced to the internet.
Oh, oh no.
Yes. So if you ever sat there and wondered, wow, this fucking idiot doesn't know how the internet works, well, there you go. He's never grown up with the internet.
Mm.
Because I've grown up
Jesus.
with the internet and I've, said some stupid stuff on like forums and got mocked because of it, and eventually learned, well, if you don't want to be made fun of, you don't say stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and the fact that Dylan pretends to be like, guys, I know my internet OPSEC. I just need to weasel my way out of it, like most YouTubers do, and he honestly believes that mindset. And I'm just thinking, this is not gonna end very well. This is not like people who have OPSEC, and not only OPSEC, but people who've been on the internet for decades have straight up said, "Don't do this, dude. Don't just. It's not wise." And then he blew himself up.
Hmm. I mean, in some ways, he does have somewhat decent OPSEC because I noticed, like Taylor said, he basically uses like a different burner phone number for every website, basically.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I mean
that's
that's
decent.
that's
Okay,
that's
so he
decent.
is learning.
That's actually a good move, but he got famous using his fucking his real first and last name, like his
Yeah.
initials. So I mean that's just like straight up retarded at that point.
Maybe that's why
And
he's hiding.
that is on the internet forever.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that shit's
He
gonna
would,
come up on like if he goes to get a job, that shit's gonna come up, you know.
yeah. The one big reminder is
Exactly.
that the internet always watches.
Yep.
The internet is watching you and will watch you forever.
Hmm. Okay, so anyways, yeah, you notice all these red flags about Dylan, but you've continued to hang out with him, and he's
Yeah.
so. What would you say would have happened next in this case? Like, where did it go from there?
I would say what happened next was like just the continuing cycle. So I'm just going to say in the timeline of 2017, like 2017 just consists of the same pattern. Because he had the major breakup with Doodle Tones, everything he tried to do was, well, repair the relationship with Doodle Tones or try to make his image go from Chud to Super Chad in order to impress Medicare. And that's how I would best describe that whole entire year, because he was trying to have his cake and eat it too without catching on that he was just fighting a losing battle.
Hmm. Okay, so 2017, as from the sounds of it, other than some random shit like that, it sounds like it was pretty light on the spurging for the most part. Or I guess it was at least a
I mean,
consistent pattern.
if he did have a spurg out, so the first one was when he joined like the alt commentary community. So originally this guy named Darkseid was just going to use it as a way to like troll people in that community. And then Dylan joined it not to actually join in on the trolling, but to use it as a, trolling shield as he got back at Doodle. And then when he got full, I don't know, control over that group, it just went downhill from there.
Okay, so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, just based on how you're describing the stuff of Doodle Tones, it sounds like there was something there, like more than a friendship, as you say.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, so
I honestly believe they were romantically connected
mhm,
on a dysfunctional way.
mhm. Okay, so 2017 passes by. There's some spark outs and stuff, but nothing too massive. So from what I can tell, you said 2018 is when shit started really going downhill.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention, in between 2017, him and Meme, they definitely go through more than 3 breakups. But of course, the thing with Dylan is that he's always trying to save face. So there was no way that he was ever actually going to admit to anyone that him and Meme broke up, because then, well, if he doesn't have a girlfriend, he looks like a big loser. So it was really convoluted on how he would just say, well, we're still romantically interested in each other, but we're just taking a break. Really dumb stuff like that. When it's like, we could tell that, no, you guys are broken up. Why? Because his friend Marsh, if Meme and Dylan ever went through a break, Marsh would be shit talking Meme. But when Meme and Dylan were dating again, all of a sudden Marsh was saying nice things about Meme, but you could tell that she just wanted to piss blood. So I'm talking like really weird scenarios like that, because I think Meme and Dylan broke up during the height of the Medicare drama because he's being an idiot. And that's a turn off to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got back together conditionally. And then when Dylan had his falling out with Doodle, I think they went through another breakup again. And then when that drama kind of simmered down, they got back together. Because I know around Christmas time of 2017, they broke up again, but I can't remember why. So
Hmm.
that's 2017 altogether.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like their relationship was failing anyways, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
Dylan or either both Dylan and Meme were in denial about it and kept trying to make it work, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so 2017, yeah, his relationship's failing. He's had a pretty consistent pattern of
Mm-hmm.
freaking out and acting like an idiot. So based on the timeline you posted, 2018 it seems to be where everything goes to shit, like even more so.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we got the timeline here, but we can kind of clarify a few things. But
Mm-hmm.
where would you say
Yep.
like 2018 in terms of like Dylan's like antics started? Like,
Okay, so I will say that his antics probably started at the end of January, because January, um, for the first 2 weeks of January, he was actually offline because I think like everybody was offline from like December 24th all the way to January 1st. So I wasn't really on any of the calls if there was any, and I think he was only like on once or twice because like I said, it's Christmas time, so
Yes.
everybody back then was
Yeah, probably spending time with
spending it
family.
with their family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I will say the first and second week of January, he basically stayed in his own lane, even though we could tell that he was kind of moping because of the breakup. And so what I'm starting to remember now is that there was periods when Dylan would just quote unquote distance himself from us. And that was actually, well, he claims that it was meme ordering him to distance himself from his friends. And that's when I mentioned before that this is when she actually made him follow a routine. And actually, he did stick to the routine. And I'm not just talking like, going to bed on time, brushing his teeth, and putting on pants. I'm talking about a consistent upload schedule, a consistent streaming schedule for his YouTube channel. And surprise, surprise, during those months that he was not talking to us, he was actually being productive. He was, writing scripts, he was recording, he was editing and uploading his own videos, and he was actually sticking to the set times for streams. And then, of course, sometimes he would kind of break out of those routines whenever he would talk to us, but at that point, we were all in school, and so I don't see what the big distraction. He labeled us as the distraction when it's like, we're not stopping you from making videos. We're not stopping you from writing scripts because, well, we're all in class. We're all at our jobs or whatever. So I'm gonna maybe chalk that up as to him, like, just, I don't know, procrastinating, I guess. So that's how the first 2 weeks of January was because they broke up in December and then they got back together conditionally. And one of the things he told us that she made him do was with the commentary community, because again, he was trying so hard to get back together with Doodle. And so she told him, like, no more commentary community videos, no more watching commentary channels like, Sargon of Akkad, Bering, and all of those guys at the time. And he stuck to it for the first 2 weeks, and that's what I meant by him making safe content, his Sonic theories, his crappy pastas, etc. And I will say that the third week of January is when we started to notice that he was getting bored.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, just to summarize, sort of first 2 weeks of January, he was actually being somewhat productive and actually getting shit done, but he was still getting off track some, and him and his girlfriend had gotten back together, but she had basically made him, or he claims that she had made him basically quit the commentary community and stop watching his
Yeah.
channels.
Yes. Because Dylan can actually, if he actually has somebody over his shoulder under the guise of promising sex, he can actually get stuff done, but when he's by himself, well, I think everybody knows the answer.
Mhm. Okay, so
So,
yeah, third week of January, I guess. Where does it really go from there?
like I said, that starts marking a huge shift. Like we really notice that he starts getting bored, especially playing it safe. Because there was some days where he was, listening to meme, but that kind of stopped when he made a separate secret Skype account without meme in it. Because we did ask, like, "Hey, where's meme?" And then he conveniently said, "Oh, well, she's ordering me to not speak to you guys because, she just doesn't like you. So, in this chat, you can talk to me whenever you want, and et cetera, et cetera." So that was like a sign that he wasn't listening to meme anymore. And he started following Doodletone's channel again, started following all the things that on Twitter again. And at this point in time, he really, really wanted to be back with Doodletones. He really wanted to be back in his circle of friends. And I guess, in his eyes, all the good times they had together. And this is around when a prominent YouTuber, well, I wouldn't say prominent, but basically Doodletones gets a new boy toy named YouTube Dude. And Dillin gets very upset when Doodle releases like a commentary and she's doing it with the YouTube Dude, and that really sets him off. Like, he really gets very jealous. And this is when the end of January marks, well, the bigger changes that are going to come.
Okay. Okay, and you're mentioning bigger changes. Okay, Cedric has a question, but I'm not sure if you would have any insight to it. Do you have any insight at all about how Dylan and Taylor met? Or
No, I don't.
no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I think she
it's
said.
safe to say that anything that happened after 2019, I have no idea what he was doing at that time. So I don't know how they met.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So.
I mean, it's very likely that he probably met her through like, networking with like the Sonic community.
Mhm.
Very likely.
Okay. So. Anyways, yeah. There's some. So, anyways, as you said, Dylan's basically slacking off now. He is not listening to meme and there you said there was a shift kind of that was happening and where does it go from here really like after January?
So I can't remember the first week of February because, well, I was I was a part of a production until Valentine's Day. And I remember around Valentine's Day, him and Meme were definitely back together, even though he never flat out stated that they were. And this is where we just saw through the bullshit. And it's like, it's very clear that you two are back together because he had our former friend Pretty Kitty, aka Becca, commissioned Valentine's Day art for Meme. And I do remember him making a video and tweeting about it. And in the video, he mentions Happy Valentine's Day to the best girl named Meme. And it's like, yeah, you guys are back together.
Mhm.
So I can't remember if this was like the third or the fourth time because, like I said, these two were on and off to the point where nobody could keep track.
Mhm.
So
Well,
everything run. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so yeah, they were definitely back together by or on or around Valentine's Day. Like, and this had happened. This had basically happened like several times at this point where they are basically off and on.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay,
So I'm
so
gonna say, so after Valentine's Day, that's when the huge like changes come into place. This is where the things get messy.
mhm.
So I don't know if anybody remembers, but like in 2018, the biggest thing that was happening was blood sports.
Oh yeah,
You
internet.
know, with Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, internet blood sports. I remember that shit.
Well, yeah. So that was at the height of its popularity, and of course, well, Dylan, whenever he sees something extremely popular, raking in the numbers,
He
like
wants to do it.
basically anything, yeah, anything trendy of that era, he wants to copy and paste it because he thinks it's gonna just it's that easy.
Yeah.
Can I ask something?
So
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
So, what was it? At the height of the whole blood sports situation, right? Um,
Hmm.
how like what was your opinion on the whole like Dylan going into blood sports thing, really? Just wondering.
Truth be told, that was like the most fun I
Hmm.
ever had because we had idiots from the commentary community join this Discord server that was labeled Bloodsport CC. And oh my god, it was fun. All of you would have had fun just shit posting and just, you know, like basically trolling these people and triggering these people because, well, that's who they were. It was just so much fun.
Mhm.
I would say that the Bloodsport saga, as short lived as it was, that was so fucking fun.
I mean, that's probably just because, like, in general, I mean, blood sports, I mean, they're just like, sort of like, as Mediker put it, the Jerry Springer of the internet. I mean, it's just like dumb fun to watch, and
Yes.
yeah, it's. I
Oh,
mean,
it was.
I used to. I'm gonna be honest. I used to like watch that shit back in the day. I mean, it was stupid. Like everybody involved in it was a
Mm-hmm.
fucking idiot, but it was entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
my I'm gonna say this real quick, but my least favorite era out of Dylan's my least favorite era would have to be when he did the whole name change scenario where he just kept changing his name and kept trying to, guys, I gotta hide from the Kiwis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with like Dylan's particular blood sports situation, but I mean, as with skin as thin as his, he wouldn't fucking survive in that kind of environment.
Because you're right, he didn't survive very long because this is what happens. So blood sports, surprise, surprise, ends up being really successful, but there are several factors or incidences that occur during this time that, well, just leads to when shit hits the fan. So at this point, because Doodle has, well, okay, so let's just backtrack to when. So after Valentine's Day, everything was good. So Meme and Dylan are doing okay until Dylan, well, fails to get back together with Doodle Tones because, well, she has YouTube Dude as a meat shield. And I will admit, Doodle was doing some pretty stupid fucking things then. And YouTube Dude was just basically a meat shield from all sorts of criticism. And because that's what Dylan did in YouTube Dude's place, Dylan became extremely heartbroken. Yes, there was days when he was legit crying. I'm like,
Ooh.
he turned on the camera a couple times and we could see the tears. I'm not joking. Oh my god.
Oh, no.
I don't like. What is a 23-year-old woman supposed to do when she sees like this 20-year-old man crying over a tranny? Like, what do you do in that situation? Oh god. So I mean, we just sat there and just kind of just awkwardly watched him because this is so fucking weird. So, there's that. And basically, Meme is counting down the days of when she can finally just get the hell out of here because she knows that she's not really gonna change Dylan. So after that happens, well, then something just snaps inside Dylan. Like, if you've noticed that Dylan has extreme tard rage, and when
Yeah.
something snaps, well, once he's in that rage mode, he never quits. And that rage mode can run for hours, days, even weeks. So this rage that he did with the blood sports ran for 3 weeks straight.
Jesus.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the rage he had for like Taylor and Jesse?
I've heard about it, but
Like, were
I
you on
think I
the
heard about it too.
were you on the
So,
inside of that shit?
so what happened is that this was at a time when, what was it? Like Dylan had a. This was after the breakup, and Jesse announced that I stole your girlfriend. I stole your girlfriend, Dylan. How's about that, cuck boy? Yeah, and it's
That old.
yeah that happened. By the way, I don't know if they're still together, but man, was Dylan not happy about this. He had absolute
Ooh.
tard rage.
I believe it.
Yeah, they're
I
they're
mean, he straight up considered doing gay ops stuff against Taylor.
what?
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
mean,
believe that.
I 100% believe it too. And just for the record, Taylor and Jesse are not together anymore. They broke up. I think around March. I think roughly. Didn't last long.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sorry to interrupt. It's just
Yeah.
wanted to mention about the whole thing because it reminded me of that. The tard
Right.
rage.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, he's known to
Yeah.
do that. So.
Mm-hmm.
So he's having a tard rage, and you said this particular tard rage is about Doodle Tones dating somebody else?
Well, I wouldn't say dating, but
Or
basically
like associating
is
it?
friends with, has a new friend named YouTube Dude.
Oh, so it's not even like a romantic thing. It's just like, holy shit, man. Like,
But the way that it's going on, you would think that they were all dating. Which is why I said this is so weird. Like, okay.
okay, so he's tard raging over Doodle Tones not, I guess, not being his friend anymore. So where does it go from this point?
Okay, so Bloodsports runs really good. And of course, Meme starts looking for a way out of this relationship, but this time for good, because she doesn't want to have anything to do with Dillin. So there was this guy, Flutterbutter, aka Zach, that he was in our friend group, and Meme starts talking to Flutter behind the scenes. So that's one setup right there. The other factor was there was this really annoying person named SketchTB slash SketchyTB slash NeoAltCC user who is a furry sex pest. And if you know anything about furry sex pests, is they love inserting themselves into drama. And that's what this guy did. He inserted himself into the Bloodsport CC drama, and I remember trolling him a lot of times, and it was really fun to just see this little wimp just rumble. Oh god, the Ugandan Knuckles meme made him cry. I don't know how the hell.
Like,
I don't know how the hell you do that.
he's fucking crying. Like, who the fuck cries over Ugandan Knuckles? Like, what the hell?
I don't know, like
It's fucking stupid.
well, this is the people who occupy the commentary community. I mean, these are the same type of people where you told them to go take a shower, they'll probably come up with like a huge long ass essay saying taking a shower is the equivalent of child abuse.
Oh my god. That reminds me. I'm a little bit off topic, but so in June, whenever Dillin started grave dancing on Rogue's disappearance, there was some A-log by the name of White Glove who was A-logging Rogue Internet Man, and they were making an ass of themselves and oversharing way too much information, and basically they were an unwashed tranny. So yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, they're a clusterfuck in and of themselves, and like during the whole like Kiwi Farms thing, like whenever they would go into the Telegram chats and turn on their webcam and make an ass of themselves. I mean, they're a whole rabbit hole in and of themselves, but yeah, that figured I'd just share that. Like, but okay, so Sketch TB, they come into the server, and y'all start, or I guess everybody starts fucking with them because they're a furry sex pest, probably. And yeah, I guess they kind of were asking for it by inserting himself into the middle of the drama.
So, despite him getting trolled a couple of times, he did successfully reach out to Meme, or I don't know, I think Meme reached out to him. Either or, she starts talking about their relationship or their breakup because, well, like I said, those two were on and off so much that Dillin just never ever straight up said if they were broken up or not. And this is why I'm just saying I think they broke up because, well, we had to draw our own conclusions. And when he found out that Sketch was, talking to Meme about their relationship and her airing out the dirty laundry between the two, well, this just pissed him off to no end. So there is no particular order in which these sequences occur, but these are all the things that lead up to the inevitable meltdown. So the other one, red flag that we saw, was when there was this user who goes by the name Awesome and Mario 360. He and Dillin at one point they were in a live stream call or chat, and this guy just flat out just stated how Meme fucked him cold. And this is the angriest I have ever seen Dillin flip out at a random user. I specifically remember him saying in this perfect sequence, "Do not ever utter her name from your ugly mouth ever again. I don't want you ever talking about her around me ever again."
Holy shit.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Oh god. Okay, so
Yep.
yeah, that really pissed him off and got under his skin.
Especially if you call him a cuck, a beta male cuck, or just straight up tell him you got cucked. That really pisses him off.
Okay, and yeah, that's probably why the whole situation of Taylor like pissed him off even more was.
Yep.
I mean, like it's sorta, kinda, possibly debatable that whether in actuality it happened, but I mean, it's funnier just to say he did.
It's even funnier considering how there was a conspiracy going about how, oh, Taylor and what was it? Taylor, Jesse, and what's their name? What's that third person? Rogue, all conspired to do this with Dillin to fuck with him or whatever.
What?
And like Rogue Internet Man, like that conspiracy.
Yeah, there's a weird conspiracy involving apparently this whole like Dillon self-destruction saga happened because of all three of them conspiring or whatever. And I was just like, I kind of fell for it initially, but then now thinking about it, I'm just like, yeah, that's like being over paranoid.
I mean, yeah, like that's holy fucking shit. I mean, that'd be insane if it's true, but it's far as I know, Jesse and Rogue never really talked, from my understanding.
Yeah, but what is confirmed is, yeah, I mean, Taylor and like I said, Jesse did do stuff. That's the only confirmation, really.
Okay. Okay, so let's see where we are. So Dillin, somebody calls him a cuck. He flies off the handle. Let's see. You said a lot of shit happened in February. Where does it go from here?
Okay. So the other thing that comes into play later, so there's this user named Kirby Star Warrior who is just so much of a fucking spurg that anytime you disagreed with him on the most minuscule of things, he would just rage and gaslight you into a corner until you admitted that you were the one in the wrong for disagreeing with him. And it could be anything. I mean, it could be that chocolate pancakes taste like shit, and because you don't think they taste like shit, but he knows that they taste like shit, and because you don't agree with him, he'll like basically bully you until you agree with him.
Yeah, and didn't you
Such
post
a wonderful person.
Yeah, didn't you post a photo of this guy earlier?
Yep, that's him. That's him.
Here, let me just repost this in case anybody missed this shit.
Oh god.
Just as Mr. Medicare would say, we got a real internet badass right here.
Oh my god, why does he look like that like that weird Oh god, he looks weird.
Yep. So Kirby Star Warrior has this massive temper tantrum when Dillin disagrees with him over, I honestly can't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was anime waifus. Because that's how petty this guy is.
Mhm.
I will say Kirby Star Warrior is way more petty than Dillin. I don't know how you do that, but
I mean,
there's that.
yeah, that's a fucking feat in and of itself.
Mhm. So the other thing that happens is that during one of these wonderful live streams, there's this user who enters the server and he impersonates Mr. Medicare. And because Dylan hates Mr. Medicare so much, he freaks the fuck out mid live stream when he sees them like enter the Discord server. He basically shut down the live stream because we were all having fun and we were watching, and then all of a sudden it stopped midway, and he's like combing through the server, and I guess they like he's on full damage control. And eventually they are able to find out that no, this is not the real Mr. Medicare. This is an impersonator, but Dylan is frightened to high hell
Mhm.
during this incident. Like the way that he was talking, you would think that he had just seen a little kid get killed in front of his eyes, is because that's how he was like his voice was shaking when he was talking about this impersonator. like like he just saw the boogeyman or something.
Yeah. Is there any like I know Dylan had a previous spat with Medicare back in that's kind of what earned him his Kiwi Farms page. I mean, he had
Mm-hmm.
fucked with Medicare at his peak, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, is there like any particular reason that he'd be horrified of Jim, or can you think of
I
any
don't
other
know.
reasons?
I think it's because Jim wiped Dylan with the like basically Jim wiped Dylan's face with the with the floor with the face or whatever it's called.
Yeah, like he just like basically bent Dylan over and had his way with him, pretty much.
Yes. Yes. And I the whole like I said, the entire time that he was going through the alt CC phase, it was just to make him repair his image in Jim's eyes, because like Jim is like the Giga Chad of the internet. Dylan figured, well then I'll do the exact same thing, but failed epically.
That's yet another parallel between like I'm noticing that both Dylan and Ethan Ralph seem to have a lot of parallels in some ways, and that's another one is just, like seeking approval for Daddy Jim. Like it's I don't know what the fuck is up with that, but he's just some random guy on the internet. But anyways, so the imposter Jim comes on and they basically determine it's not the real Jim, but he still went on high alert and freaked out.
Yep.
Okay. So what happens after that? Like that sounds fucking crazy.
Well, after this, Meme blocks Dylan on all social media platforms. Like she completely cuts him off. On Skype, Discord, Twitter. I think she privated her YouTube channel or deleted it. She even, because apparently they used to share Netflix account, a Hulu account, and a PlayStation account. And she basically changed all the passwords and kicked him out of those services. And then she started airing the dirty laundry or all the dirt that she had on him, and this just starts adding fuel to the fire. But the real nail in the coffin is when Kirby Star Warrior blackmails Dillin with a video commentary or a commentary video about, I don't know, whatever it was that they were disagreeing on. And God, it took him 2 hours to fucking calm down. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, when he was being messaged by Kirby that, oh, hey, I made a video on you, and remind you, Kirby Star Warrior only has like less than 100 subscribers and is a complete fucking nobody. And Dillin is practically acting like he's about to have his heart ripped out and tossed into a never-ending pit of lava. And for 2 hours, he was freaking out. And we're talking like wouldn't stop shaking. His voice wouldn't stop shaking. And he was going to throw up at any moment type of freaking out because of Kirby's blackmail. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, so Kirby is trying to blackmail him. Like, I don't know if I'm like not comprehending it or if Dylan's just like stupid. But like, what exactly was he blackmailing Dylan with? Like
A video, just an expose video.
what?
Yes.
Holy shit!
That's how. Yes.
That's it.
That's it. And it was just like an exposed video about why Dylan is wrong because, I don't know, this girl is the better waifu or some shit.
What the fuck? Oh,
Yes.
My God.
that's retarded. That's like monumentally so.
It is. It is. But that was the final nail in the coffin because even we at the time were like, who the fuck cares about Kirby? Just go back to doing the Bloodsport shtick. But nope, this is when he was like starting to backpedal on what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So this causes Dylan to chimp out. Like, he is on full out chimp out mode. And this is what happens. So, because Dylan is on chimp out and eventually going into damage control, Dylan gives Sketchy T-Bay, the furry sex pest, full control of the Bloodsports channel, the Bloodsports Discord server, and his own commentary channel, because all of a sudden Dylan was like, yeah, I'm quitting commentaries. Commentaries are gay. And he just handed everything over to this sex pest.
Okay, so that's all it took for Dylan to stop the whole blood sports and commentary shit, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
yeah, no wonder he didn't last long. Like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling
This was
me
less than a
Dylan...
month.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So you're telling me
Go ahead.
Dylan's been duped by like multiple sex pests?
Yes.
Oh my God, that is that is actually pathetic.
Mm-hmm. And then a few hours after doing that, Dylan starts becoming instant friends with Sketchy TB. Because all of a sudden he was pulling this idiot into like all like chats that we were in, and I really don't like this guy, so I didn't like what this guy was doing. And after that, he is on full damage control because, well, he wanted to either get back together with me or just get her to shut the hell up about what happened between the two. Oh
Okay.
boy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so does that wrap up February roughly, or is there still more shit to cover in
Yes,
that
that
case?
wraps up. No, that wraps up February.
Okay, so you said the blood sports stuff is actually going really well until Dylan had a chimp out and shut everything down basically.
And then yep.
Like it was
And that was the end of.
getting views and getting popular, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay, so
And then
yeah,
it stopped.
that lasted all of a month, and not even like a
Mm-hmm.
regular month, like just February. Like
Yep.
just okay, yeah, that's crazy that it just collapsed that soon. Okay, so now let's go on
Yeah.
to March. So yeah, blood sports is done for, and all this shit, went down. Where do we go from here?
Okay, so at the beginning of March, it was just a whole freaking week of like Dylan um low energy, not doing anything on his main channel. He's staying up late, he's sleeping during the day. Like this is when he's kind of getting back into unhealthy habits. And he's just basically moping and crying about the breakup. And it was during this time that, I kid you not, he was so upset and not wanting to do anything for his YouTube channel that he booted up Minecraft, um, started building the two twin towers because Meme is from the Bronx and the Bronx is located in New York City. For 2 hours, he was building the twin towers in Minecraft. He proceeds to fill the completed tower with sheep, and he put dynamite at the very bottom of the towers and proceeded to blow up the twin towers.
That is
What?
actual Chris Chan level shit.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
That's literally what Chris did with freaking Clyde Cash.
I mean,
How did this man just? Does he not have awareness, or is he just?
like,
God.
I mean, don't get me
No.
wrong. I mean, I'm into hedgy humor and I like me a good 9/11 joke, but like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
God.
If I remember correctly, one of the things that stuck out in my mind from him doing that was, I fell in love with a sheep.
Holy
What?
shit.
Because Meme had a sheep avatar, and that's how she liked to use sheep avatars. So that's why he filled the twin towers with sheep, because she loved to go and visit the twin tower sites.
What the fuck? I mean, okay, that's
Isn't
I mean,
ain't he a nice guy?
I would say a joke right about now, but if I told it at this
Like,
moment, it would just kind of crash and burn.
I have no words.
Okay,
ain't Dylan a
so
nice romantic guy?
fucking Dylan recreates 9/11 in Minecraft. FBI, please don't. It's a joke. Um. Okay, so what next? I mean, yeah, I'm very curious at this point.
All right. So when Dylan eventually learns the truth, of why Meme broke up with Dillin. This is what happened in the exact sequence. So at some point during their little he said, she said excursion, Meme claimed that he mistreated her, and, well, given who this is, probably, even though she did at some point earlier in the relationship, she conned him out of $150, and then she sold, under the guise of that she was going to sell him an old Xbox 360, which she never gave to him because she sold the 360, took the money from that transaction, took his money, and went and bought herself a Nintendo Switch.
Okay,
My God.
so
Yeah.
she scammed him, but yet, like, early on in a relationship, but he still decided to continue on with the relationship.
Yep.
Wow, what the fuck? That sounds like total simp behavior.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Dillin is a simp. I mean, have you seen him how he treated Taylor and whatnot?
I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely knew the whole relationship between them was, especially towards the end, it was rough because,
Simpy.
like, I heard they would get into yelling matches and shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and it's even funnier too, admitting to the fact that Dillin called Taylor's parents.
oh yeah, I remember that.
What? Oh my
That's what I.
god,
That's
that's
what.
an all new low.
No, it is always been low. That's the thing. Dillin keeps sinking. He's like the Titanic if the
Mm-hmm.
Titanic was in the Marianas Trenches.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna keep going deeper. That's why he can't ever come back. That's the big problem. Because he knows if he sticks his head out
Yeah.
again, he's gonna get fucked with.
hmm I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're gonna get back on track in just a moment, but
Mm-hmm.
like, if only he would have kept his head down and just actually fucked off from the internet back in April. His thread was locked because he quit the internet. I mean, he would have basically got off scot free and not had to worry about I mean, like, other than that, like, trying to hide from the internet. But
Alex.
yeah, if only he had, like, not grave danced him rogue and drew people's attention, he could have basically gotten written off as a dead cow on Kiwi Farms.
Mm-hmm.
That's, by the way, that was literally what most people in his Discord server, right? Before his server went under and whatnot.
Mhm.
Uh, that was one of the warnings that a whole bunch of people warned. Just don't do anything, Dillin. For the love of God, don't do anything. And somehow he didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably like,
Be-
don't give me advice. Like,
oh no. What he was actually
Mm-hmm.
is guys, you don't understand. I gotta like this is not well, you don't understand these Kiwis won't stop. And I'm just thinking, they'll stop when you stop, you dumb numbnuts. Like numbnuts, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
you don't stop when
like,
that's the whole thing about Kiwi Farms. They'll
Mm-hmm.
only stop if there's nothing to be gained out.
yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
I've never actually spoken with Dillin personally, but yeah, I mean, even like I know he definitely watches the thread like a hawk, and I don't think he understands the phrase "don't feed the trolls." He
But I
doesn't.
will say one thing about Dylan's thread though. It's thanks to that I met AWF, and AWF's been he's a cool dude. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Thanks,
AWF.
Dylan.
He's helped. Yeah, AWF is like, we were during the whole Alex saga. He helped them locate some servers that Dylan's account was in, and helped me find a few things for a thread. But AWF's kind of an idiot. I mean, just in my opinion, but
Yeah.
I
But I will
mean,
say though,
every now and then he's says something like really accurate and based, that he does something like really stupid to like throw it all away.
have you
Mm.
seen the drama that he and Dylan had?
I'm not the most familiar with the drama, but like what exactly happened there? Like,
Okay, so basically Dylan used to be in the Sonic Legacy server, right?
mhm.
And then he wanted to kind of join in on the whole, the slice of the cake, basically. He wanted a slice of the cake, and then instead, when AWF and everyone just said, Dylan, your skills aren't up to par, and please stop shilling everything in the wrong chat, and please follow the rules. They straight up said, Dylan, for the love of God, just follow the goddamn rules. He kept ignoring them, and to a point where he was like, Dylan, for the love of God, please stop spurting out in the chats. And then of course eventually Dylan spurred out so hard that he got banned off of Sonic Legacy. And in response, he created his own version. He basically said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a better, bigger project than yours with blackjack and hookers," and it ended up with like Edge Legacy.
Mhm.
And
Oh boy.
oddly enough, Dylan was actually somewhat motivated to do it until at some point later it just fizzled out in favor of the Cyclone.
Yeah, and yeah, I
God, the
think
Cyclone was a mess.
yeah. I mean, we don't even know like yeah, the cyclone's it's a fucking disaster. But yeah, okay. So let's see where we were in the timeline. March. Okay, so the 9/11 incident happens, and
Mhm.
the whole he said, she said about why they broke up starts coming out, and
Yeah.
Meme basically cuts him off at this point. She basically kicks Dylan off of her accounts, tells him to like stop freeloading, and starts like going public with like, or like airing the dirty laundry that she had on him.
Mhm.
Okay, so where does that go from here? Like, once she
Well, I know
started.
he spent like that definitely caused him to spiral into nonstop like vents. And we're not just talking about like voice chat vents, we're talking like full out text document vetting. Because every time he was in a call, or every time somebody would like message him a gif or whatever, he'd just break into this like vent about anything, especially about relationships. So at some point, Flutterbutter gets really annoyed by this and, just tells Dylan, who is in a manic state, that Dylan is wrong about Meme or whatever. And, well, of course, because Dylan's in his manic episode, he gets extremely pissed off because, of course, he wants yes men to agree with him. And he kicks Zach out of the chat and just cuts him off. So after that, well, I think my husband was talking to Zach, and eventually that's when my husband learned that these two were planning to meet up in real life and, do the dirty deed.
Oh God.
Like,
And
so by those two, you mean like Meme and Flutter?
Flutter, they were planning, yeah.
Hmm.
Meme's real name is Anne Marie, and Flutterbutter's real name is Zach.
Hmm.
Because fun fact, when Dylan and Annie were together, they came up with the most original baby girl name you could ever imagine. If they were ever going to have a daughter, they were going to name her Annie May because they both loved watching Attack on Titan. Get
That
it?
has to be the biggest. If I became like a school teacher and if I saw a kid in my class that's named Annie May, I will call her Weeaboo.
Yeah.
Just call her Weeb.
I'm sorry. Just hearing that name, my face just like was like contorting in disgust. Like, what the fuck?
Yep, that was their baby name that they came up with. Oh god.
Okay, so that aside, okay, so Flutter and Meme are planning on meeting IRL. Okay, and
Yeah.
where does that go from here?
Well, at this point, we just kind of, well, break the news to Dylan about how they plan to meet up. And the only time, like, of course, you're probably wondering, well, why on earth did you tell him that? Well, maybe it's because I don't know, he was pretending to show signs that he was getting over Meme because he was no longer, like, the venting kind of stopped after a while. And then he was actually putting effort back into his channel again. And I guess we both stupidly just thought that, okay, well, maybe he is getting over this. Maybe he has actually moved on. Because, of course, he was just straight up trying to say, like, I am over her, or nah, I've moved on, I can find better. And, like, I'm not even joking when him and Meme had, like, when he kicked Flutter out of the chat and then just basically wanted to have nothing to do with Meme, he was back on Tinder.
Grinder.
He was probably. And he was just bragging about how he was looking at singles in his area. He even bragged about how, well, there's this one girl that really wanted to have sex with me when she was 13, but I was 15 years old and I told her, nah, you should wait. So I turned her down.
That
And
is actually sus. That is mad sus.
and he did admit that he's like, well, I found her Tinder and I'm gonna shoot her a message. And I think she was like 16, 17, and he was like already over the age of 20.
Okay, that's
My
sus.
God.
Very sus. I don't think it went anywhere though. Because, well,
Yeah, it
I don't know.
shouldn't go anywhere, hopefully.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
because he never talked about her ever again, so I'm gonna say that maybe she ghosted his ass.
yeah, one of my friends actually, like, another kind of creepy thing in that nature, like, one of my friends had actually found, like, an old clip from one of the old Pajama Cast episodes of Dylan saying, in my state, Sally Acorn would be of age. And I think her, like, canon age was, like, 16 or some shit like that.
What the fuck?
Oh God. So, when we kind of just mentioned, Dylan and, well, I mean, Flutter and Meme, yeah, they kind of plan on meeting up. Well, it got so quiet in that call that you could have hear a pin drop
Ooh, feel the
because
pain.
he flew into the biggest meltdown rage I had ever seen. Holy hell. Despite for a guy, admitting that he was getting his dating mojo back on. Holy hell.
Feel the pain. God, why do I feel the pain?
So, I'm trying to remember what the hell happened because he drops out of the call after screaming "fuck you" and then just leaves. Things go quiet for like 6 to 8 hours until when we're having a call and he just casually comes in and you can tell that he was like raging because I don't know if you've ever been around where you can tell that he's like really pissed off, but he's trying to
Hold it
be
back.
calm and collected. Yep.
Oh God. Oh God.
So he was doing that, and then he just, in his like dumbass voice, was like just said, "I plan to go and meet up with a friend of mine. We're gonna go down to Texas. We're gonna go to Six Flags. I'm gonna let my friend ride some of the rides because it's gonna be a long
Right.
drive. Yep. And then I'm gonna go find that motherfucker. And I'm gonna break his spine. I'm gonna break his spine. I'm gonna crush his fucking balls."
Are we sure? Are we sure Dylan isn't related to Chris?
I
Probably.
I don't know at this point, but okay, yeah, Dylan's threatening to break their spine and crush your balls. I mean, I'm not sure how he'd really carry that out with like somebody who was of average size because Dylan, as I think has been pretty well established, she's a 5'3" manlet, like, but still taller than Ethan Ralph.
Yep.
My
And
God.
Zach is like 6'5", 6'7" in real life.
Jesus Christ! Like, and this is the guy who Dylan was gonna go fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! He could
Um.
hold him. He could hold Dylan at arm's reach.
Mhm.
Jesus, like,
Yep.
the fuck? Like, why? How the fuck? Like, unless, like, in like a fair fight, Dylan would like have no fucking chance.
Well, that's like the perfect example of Dylan's tard rage. He doesn't really think about, fine little details that could get his ass kicked. He just goes with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
So,
that's kind of one thing Taylor said too. Like, Dylan would just like do like knee-jerk reactions basically, and just
mhm.
do stuff on a whim basically without thinking it through,
Yep.
which
And we
probably
can
probably happened in the Rogue situation where he agreed to the debate and he was like trying to backpedal basically the whole time.
yeah. I can confirm that, yeah, what he did during that, well, he did that all the way back in 2018. And he has not changed.
Hmm.
He has not changed at all. So, um, so of course, like, after he revealed this, like, we were telling him, like, okay, if you and your friend, and I highly doubt that his friend exists anymore, because I don't think he has any friends IRL. we just told him, like, hey, listen, you said that you went to juvenile hall and you have a criminal record. And yes, I've actually looked up the criminal record. He does
He
have
has?
one.
Oh.
Yeah, he does. But it's behind a paywall.
Oh.
Yeah. Because he just all of a sudden flat out admitted, well, I'm not afraid of going to jail. I've been to juvenile hall. And we actually did look into that and we found the record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
I guess if somebody
yeah.
wanted to open their wallet up, they could probably pull that out. But yeah, I'm not gonna waste money on that. But yeah, just like how Dylan just goes
We
like,
never did, but it does exist.
yeah, I like how Dylan just goes like, "Hey guys, Dylan here. Today I'm gonna commit a felony."
A felony.
Yeah.
Felon.
Yeah.
What a felon.
Yeah.
What
So
a
we told him, like, well, you're gonna get tossed. You're gonna get your ass tossed in jail because you're basically, like, we basically looked into the punishment that he would face in Texas and then in Oklahoma because, well, this is a fucking offense. And as soon as we started, like, telling him all of the crazy shit that would actually happen IRL as a result of, like, going down to Texas and beating this shit out of somebody, all of a sudden he started, I want to say, backpedaling again. Because then I guess he was kind of like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't
Took him that
So
long.
yeah, isn't
yeah.
Texas one of those states that aren't they like one of those states that like pays more in federal, like pays more to the federal government than they get back from the federal government, so you like have like more leeway and different stuff and like a little more independence in like prosecuting and shit like that. Like, I think Virginia's one of them, and yeah, Virginia, they will like Virginia's really hard about punishing people. I know in some circumstances. But I mean, Texas. I mean, if you go down there and do that shit, I mean, like the shit he's talking about. I mean, if he is the
Because
least,
I think.
if he was the least bit threatening, he'd probably get shot. Like if he was the least bit threatening, but I don't know, 5'3" man like trying to fight somebody who's like a full 1.5 feet taller than him almost. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's gonna go down there and fight this guy, but I'm guessing it didn't happen.
No, it never did. Because after we just straight up told him, like, okay, well, if you want to do this, then this is what's gonna happen. And then he started backpedaling, and then he planned not to. And then he, well, planned to punch holes in the wall, and then he chimped out of that and decided to crush a little soda can. And then that's when he took his anger out on us, and he started acting like a little twat. He was also acting like a twat to, at the time, our former friend Becca, but Becca's a stupid idiot, so. And he started taking it out on her when she was telling him to, like, calm down. And so, because you probably know what's gonna happen, when Dylan is in tard rage mode and when he starts getting called out or even just told to calm down, that's when he, goes into a manic episode. So he starts picking a fight with us, and we just call him out for being a deadbeat because that's what he is. He spiraled into another tantrum. He then, for the next 6 hours, goes on a deleting spree. He deletes the Bloodsports Discord server. He deletes the Bloodsports channel. He deletes this secret Twitter account that he made specifically for Bloodsports. That was gone. And he just basically just started deleting everything, trying to get rid of evidence that we knew that we had on him. And next thing I know is I tried talking to his friend Marsh. Marsh calls me a cunt and tells me to go fuck myself. And then um next thing I know is that he's trying to apologize for he basically like gives like this really shitty apology, which basically is a non-apology. And then I call him out on his bullshit and say like, "Hey, you fucked up here. You're just trying to get us to excuse your bad behavior, and you just want everyone to keep quiet about the really shitty things that you do behind screen." And then of course that's when he goes into like that whole entire like, "Oh, well, then I give up on you. I tried to be nice to you. I tried to give you a chance, but you're the bad person here because you don't want to believe me on everything that I say and do. So I have to cut you off." That's basically that whole entire spiel that he messages me. And then after that, so I didn't include that in the timeline. So what happened after that was he basically cut us off and gaslit us into a corner. So of course, when you've been treated like shit, there was only one person that we could contact to talk about how shitty Dillin was treating us. And it was this guy named Ed Ray. And Ed Ray was like 28, 29, like way older than us at the time. So we sat down and we talked to him about like what Dillin had done and you know, just that whole entire like incident. Cause like, well, I'm not gonna lie, but Dillin did one hell of a good job at making us feel like shit, like all abusive assholes do. They always do a very good job at making you, the victim, feel like the villain when it's the other way around. So we were talking to this guy named Ed Ray, and it was just really nice to you know, talk to him and all this crazy stupid shit that was going on, um and to vent to him. So I want to say 24 hours after talking to Ed Ray had a YouTube channel at the time, and all he did was just make a video poking fun at Dillin. And if I remember correctly, all it had was Dylan's avatar wearing a headdress, holding a tomahawk. It was poorly animated, and he was like hopping and jumping around a fireplace, and there was like Native American music playing. If you understand that, like, Dylan tries to say that I'm all tribes of Native American or whatever stupid shit that he tries to say.
It's
That's
even
all that
funnier
this.
considering. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say I have a buddy of mine who is actually, has more Native American
Native.
DNA than freaking Dillin does, and that's kind of sad. And I find it
Mhm.
hilarious too. It's like, damn, bro, you got you got your ass handed. It's
Yeah. So Ed Ray just releases that little video. There was no text and there was no audio other than the Native American music playing. Dylan, for whatever reason, got whiff of this guy who he was never subscribed to, and immediately, like, he refused to talk to me, but he was willing to back my husband into a corner and demand why this was happening. And I don't know if you ever got the chance to listen to that audio, but if you ever hear him at the beginning of the MP3 and he's saying, "Well, somebody reached out to Borg. Why are you guys talking to him?" That's basically what Dylan's referring to. Even though all Ed Ray did was just poke a little fun at him. This is when the next big spiral happened. And what happened after that, well, you can listen to it in that video that's on the farms.
whew. All I
Mhm.
gotta say is that's a whole can of worms that I did not expect at all.
Yeah.
And just to remind you, Dylan keeps like he likes to hide shit. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, he hides shit, he deletes shit, and then he pretends it never happens because he does not like being held accountable for anything.
Oh yeah,
I
like
mean, yeah.
yeah, I mean during the whole fucking arc where you like falsely DMCA'd me, he basically went through like all his fucking community posts and deleted those. Like just like he
Yeah.
nuked his channel pretty much, like privated all his videos and like
Have you
yeah.
have you seen the drama that he what was it? Not drama, what was it? So he had an artist by the name of Manga Common, right?
Mhm.
It's even funnier to think
Mm-hmm.
Dylan actively defended that like Common or not manga writer, sorry, manga writer kept saying, "Hey guys, don't know his art is fine. It's all good. It's all good. It's all quality or whatever." Even though we kept telling, not only me but a whole bunch of other people kept saying, "Dylan, this art looks like absolute dog shit. Find another artist." Then I found out later that he was the only artist that was willing to work with Dylan, and even now he has supposedly cut off ties with him, but um, people doubt that. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, have you seen
so
the latest shit going on in the farms thread, like with the whole thing where like the whole Shad's hoodlum shit?
oh god, yeah, this chat. So, oh god, that came out of nowhere. That's all I gotta say. Like, I commend those people who have a good eye for spotting people like Dylan and whatnot, because I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I
All I'm gonna
didn't.
say is,
Yeah, I didn't either. But yeah, I mean, I did spot that. I, like one of the other links I could find was that that chick he's working with now, Lava Nerd or whatever her name is now. She's she was also on the Shad Hoodlum channel because, like, not by name, but you can identify her by the voice. It sounds exactly the same. She wasn't using any voice filters.
unlike Dylan.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, that was another link, but yeah, so let's see. So that big, gigantic call happens where Dylan basically like freaks the fuck out on you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
what is there? I guess that's about it, really, for the most part, or at least for
Yeah.
what you've experienced.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm actually kind of thankful that we waited because I'm gonna just say it feels so nice to actually get to talk about this because back then, oh man, back then we didn't have the courage to like talk out about what this asshole did and really, really just oh, it was so hard to like move on because well, he technically well won back then, but it was a fluke because well, to be real, back then is when he had it good. He still had the following of the commentary community, and he still had a whole bunch of people that would have like taken his side, so we had to just like be quiet about it and hang on to that audio because he legit threatened my husband that well I'll sue you. I'll sue you in court or whatever over fucking thing. And of course, we knew that he would try and DMCA strike his channel at the time if we ever released it because the video was unprivated and it was always there and it just sucked because we couldn't make it public because we knew for a fact that that little bastard would have tried to take us down.
Mhm.
And probably would have DMCA'd the channel to high hell, and then he was walking around, you know, acting like he won, even though, well,
He didn't.
he didn't.
It was a Pyrrhic victory at best.
And yeah.
Mhm.
So even if we had waited a year after that, I don't think we would have had much of an impact. But after we started learning that he burned a lot of bridges and that there's literally no one who will defend him. Yeah, I'm really glad that we eventually got to make this known because he is dangerous. He is a dangerous person.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, from what I know, he wasn't. Now he's not. Now he's a pussy.
Well, he's a pussy, but yeah.
He's a giga pussy. Then
Yeah.
again, I shouldn't say much because at the same time, I did. I will say one thing though. I did kind of sat around doing nothing but observing what he's doing, and that's it. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad now, realizing I maybe I should have done something, but unfortunately the past is past, and now the future is here. So
right. I
Yeah.
mean, and you know, your experience, you're just like one person that, you know, has experienced, yeah, I guess what you would call the Dillin cycle. Like, you know, you're just one person, basically. I mean, just, you know, he finds somebody he can use, basically just use them, and he then, you know, goes on to start shit with them and have like a giant breakup with
bitch
them.
fit. Yep.
I mean, he's done
I
this, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
probably like, I think close to a dozen times that we know of at this point.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing is like he doesn't learn. He
Mm-hmm.
just does
Mm.
not learn at all. He is hard-headed.
Yep. I mean,
In fact, I wouldn't even say hard-headed. He's his tight. He is a solid block of titanium.
that's a good way to put it. I mean, all I can
Mhm.
say is, I don't know. I don't know. Lava is probably never gonna find this, but yeah. I mean, if you ever do, though, I mean, just keep in mind that Dylan's went through this cycle a lot of times, and you're probably the next target at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And might I say that I think the cycle is getting shorter shorter.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
gonna keep getting short. He keeps burning. He keeps burning things in all directions. So
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's basically
I mean,
killed his YouTube, like any chance of having a a stable YouTube career at this point.
yeah,
They just made way too many enemies. I mean, there's I think it's Blue Rush. There's Gamer Guide. There's Dumbsville. I mean, all sorts of people that he's fucked over.
freaking dumbs. But man, all I
mhm.
gotta say is I'm kind of glad he got away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I remember the
But
days when. Oh, sorry.
now go ahead.
I remember the days when Dillin made a big deal. Guys, look, Dumbsville.
Mhm.
But man, Dillin was just. He was an interesting person in general, and interesting, and not in a good way. Interesting, you know what I mean? I'm talking. He was a
What's
weird, weird man with weird interests.
what's yeah.
Mhm.
But that's who Dylan preys upon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He preys upon like harmless people essentially.
Yep. So yeah, I think as far as your experience of Dylan, like of all the major stuff, that's probably, as you said, the end of it. But do you have any other like trivia facts or tidbits or anything that you'd like to add to this? Like any like
Um
lesser known details or anything like that?
during one of his many rants, he I don't know how this happened, but like we were discussing um somebody brought up the topic of abortion, and all of a sudden he overhears the word abortion, and then he just went into a massive tirade about how abortion is awful and abortion is evil, and he would not let anyone talk. And during that time, he revealed that when he was in high school, he got a girl pregnant. And
What?
yeah, he got a girl pregnant, and the girl um went, I don't even think they were dating. He even said that that wasn't his girlfriend. They just had like a hookup at like a party or some shit, a high school house party, and she ended up getting pregnant, and he didn't see her for a whole month or something like that, and then she went and got an abortion. And when she told him, he freaked the fuck out at her.
That is.
And during that entire time, he was like, "How dare that little slut not tell me? I was the fucking father. I had right to that kid. Why didn't she ask me for permission?"
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Yes.
holy. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, that I mean that's fucking insane. And all I can say is let's just say that for considering all the shit we've heard at on this thing, with this discussion, it was probably for the best that happened. Like probably it was probably the best for Dylan, best for the chick, and then probably the best for the child at that point. Because I mean, could you imagine Dylan as like a father?
Oh God.
like, oh,
Mm-mm.
oh my fucking god,
I mean,
man.
he's a deadbeat, so I think he would probably treat the child how Ethan Ralph treats his actual children.
Oh,
Zonda.
oh
At
yeah,
least
well,
Xander, yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Xander, I guess he's got a restraining order, to be fair, but still, I mean, you don't see Ralph really spending that much time with, his wife and current kid. I forget her name, but, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Faith?
No, not Faith. Shit. What did,
Pantsuki?
May is her name,
Oh,
but
man.
I can't remember the baby's name.
yeah, I can't either, yeah, Pantsu or whatever, yeah, I can't remember what they named the child, but, yeah, yeah, the holy shit. I mean, yeah. I mean, if Dylan had a kid, as you said, it'd probably be like Ethan Ralph, like where he just like fuck
Mhm.
women and then like break up
Yeah.
with them after he gets them pregnant,
Because
or
there's
like
no
start
way in
ignoring
hell
them.
he could ever pay child support.
Yep. I mean, yep. I mean, I think I've heard in the I've heard it from other people, but I think I've heard like people have told me that Dylan's claimed he doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah, his parents does.
Oh, okay. That's probably why he doesn't have the IRS fucking coming in
Yeah.
and fisting him right now.
Speaking of his parents,
Oh boy.
I mean, I know for a fact that his actual biological father is not in the picture. I think he's either dead or he just like abandoned the family.
That's
But
sad.
he does have a stepfather. And I find this really particularly ironic because there were so many times that he just would vent about his stepdad to meme. I've only heard about I've only heard him personally say he fucking hates his stepdad. Even though I can see why his mom is with him. And this is a particular incident that happened sometime during 2018. It was way before like Meme and him broke up, and he came into the chat one night and he was just like, you could tell that something was on his mind because the way that he was talking, like he was shaking as if somebody came up to the door with like a knife or something, and he was talking like that. And so then and he kind of refused to tell us like what happened. And so then finally we said, well, just fucking tell us what happened. And so then he admits that he was supposed to have this guy come to the door to pick up his package. And his stepdad was late from getting the money. And so this guy wanted his drugs, and Dylan didn't have the money. And Dylan tried to tell him, like, listen, my stepdad's gonna be back in like 30 minutes. Can you just wait on the front step? And then he proceeded to explain that the guy freaked out and was trying to punch holes in the door. So Dylan locked the door, and the guy started blowing up his phone because, of course, he had to text the guy the address and, where he can pick up his stuff while, the money was being exchanged. But Dylan, I don't know how, managed to fuck it up, and the guy got pissed off and wanted to, I guess, beat him up. And Dylan panicked, slammed the door and locked it, locked himself in his room. And then we were asking him, like, well, how did you get the guy to go away? And he said, oh, I just spammed a bunch of like gore at the guy, and then we were like, gore. And this was not the first time that Dillin has ever spammed gore at people he hates. He did that to Sketchy DB at one point. He just spammed a bunch of gore at the guy to get him to fuck off. And forever since then, it's like, well, Dylan's a sack of shit. And the only time that I think they have money, it's not legit money. I think it's, well, drug
Laundered.
money. Yeah, laundered or drug money. Or they're trafficking drugs.
Kind of explain why his family's situation is a bit shitty, though. Kind of gives an explanation on. I'm not trying to sound rude or anything. It's just my own observation.
Yeah, like
Yeah, because at one point, the whole family lived in the same house, and the only one who was actually bringing in an income was the stepdad, because from what I remember, his mom, the only thing she did to bring in money was donate blood, because I guess you
Oh
can
my
get,
God.
You can get a fair amount of change when you donate blood, but other than that, I never really heard word if she worked at like Walmart or Target. I think the only person who was able to maybe break out of that cycle was his sister. And of course, Dylan, well, where he gets his
Possessor.
money. Yeah.
yeah, it isn't from YouTube.
And it's also from Social Security. Don't he straight up filed for Social Security, if I recall, on the farms thread.
I mean, he did.
Mm.
I think he did admit, like, after the whole Rogue situation, I think he said he was gonna like sign up for Medicare so he could go to a therapist or some shit
Oh.
like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there's that.
Sorry, I just had to sneeze.
It's fine.
Okay,
I
so yeah, that's a lot of crazy shit that we've heard tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, all I gotta say is Dylan. At this point, I want to say he has some chances of fixing his life, but at this point, I think he's actually fucked. Because
I mean, as I stated, like, if there is somebody over his head telling him exactly what to do, like what Meme did a long time ago, he can actually get into a very productive cycle of just uploading content. Boring content, but content nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
But his
Yeah.
problem is that he gets bored very easily. Kind of like
you
Ethan
can
Ralph.
you can't tell right now, but I am nodding my head so hard right now, like just that boy ain't right.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
so
yeah.
yeah, anything else at all to add here? Because yeah, I've been going for about 2 hours now, and or actually over 2 hours at this point, and yeah, I guess we can, unless you have anything else to add, I guess we can
I
probably go
think
and wrap it up.
um I think that's just about everything, like unless like whatever was put into like the Discord chat, so
Okay, let me scroll through there, see if there's anything I want any clarification on. Okay, I see something. Okay, so So the Skype messages here on where you post them
Mhm.
Friday, or not Friday, yesterday, where they have like the 10 parts of the messages. So who was this a conversation between, just to double check?
Okay, let me just scroll back a bit
Mm.
because I believe the first screenshots that I post of that Skype call on those are between me and him,
Okay, so like
and of
the
course,
first ones of like the red background on the iPad or whatever, or is that it? Or
yeah, that was
that was you
that's
and
it.
him?
So that was me and him. Because I can't remember, like, oh, okay. So apparently he was quote unquote trying to set the record straight because, of course, when Dylan says something stupid or does something stupid, he tries to backpedal and throw in all these stupid, like,
Like,
details that overall don't matter.
mhm.
So he tried to save face by insisting that they broke up in December, which they did. But it was very clear that they obviously got back together. They got back together for Valentine's Day because you don't just randomly ask somebody to commission Valentine's Day art for just anyone, because nobody does that. Let's be real. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
They only do that for a girlfriend. And he, like I said, it was like the equivalent of him buying roses and a box of chocolates.
Well, I will say one thing though. My birthday's on Valentine's Day, so
Mhm.
technically, I mean, even then, if I commission art
Ah.
on that day, it would be like, hey, could you do
Yeah.
me like a birthday thing? Sorry to just a little,
Yeah.
it's just
Mhm.
what has he ever? That the biggest question that I have is, what has he achieved in his life? Because it seems like he hasn't achieved anything.
I don't
It
know.
seems like
But yeah, so yeah, during that whole entire screenshot, what really pissed me off back then was when he said, leave my mental health out of this and don't brainwash Marsh, because I was telling he thinks brainwashing is when actual truth about him is being put out there, and he calls that brainwashing.
Mm.
what?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, it's in there in that it's right there in that screenshot.
Okay, and that was the top ones there. I guess I think I was
The
referring to
top
more
one,
like
the
the
middle one.
yeah, I think I was more referring to like the ones he posted, the other not those, but the ones he posted later, like the one where it says like, thanks man, we talked a bit more and we good now, me and meme.
Where was that?
I
Oh, that whole entire conversation is between Zach and my husband.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was getting ready to okay. Yeah, I was a little confused on who that conversation was between, but fucking
Yeah.
the line my little 911 and her little school shooter, those lines were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't
mental
But
illness.
yeah. But that comment where it says, "Whoa, I can tell you this video is gonna blow up harder than the sheep in the Twin Towers." That one was from the Ed Ray video, and of course Dylan had put that top one where it's like where he's trying to save face. on, because he was going through a manic episode, and then that was the guy Darkseid, who he did burn a bridge with. That guy is mocking him because at that point, me and my husband we were telling people, whoever was interested in hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was. Yeah. I mean, everything was like insane. Like kind of. Like holy shit.
Because Dylan's insane.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
He is fucking
mad
insane.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mad boy, and he likes to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
Although
So
I
true.
think what would really, really be funny is if Mr. Medicare caught wind of all this and decided to make
Video?
a video.
Yep.
He used to make a video on like internet crazies.
Yeah, and he covered. I think he covered like. He had done a. I think like the sequence of events back then was he had like done a video on diaper fetishists on DeviantArt, basically,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then he I guess did a follow-up video because apparently the whole community, like that sort of community, basically threw like a giant shit fit, and part of that was
Yeah.
Doodle Tones is involved in that, and Dylan, he was white knighting for Doodle Tones, basically. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of part of that, but holy shit. I mean, I don't really know if I have any other questions here regarding everything, but yeah, it was fucking crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah. No problem.
Yep.
And it's just nice to actually talk about this when we were never given the chance to talk about it for 3 years straight.
Yep. And I remember like another moment where like Dylan was like scared of Medicare, like Medicare had name dropped Dylan and talked about possibly covering him on a stream in the future. This is like back in
Mm-hmm.
like back during the whole like about the time he quote unquote left the internet the first time this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's what pushed him over the edge at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
But
anyways,
I think
um,
I
um,
think what really wounded Dylan was when Taylor and Jesse were just basically speaking to people from the farms. I think that really wounded him to the point where I don't think he's ever made a comeback from that.
yeah, because I think that kind of what is led up to him snapping and going at Rogue, because apparently he might have thought Rogue had something to do with it, because Rogue had talked to Rogue was apparently somebody brought up Dylan on one of Rogue's stream. Rogue was like, fuck Dylan, and Dylan heard about it, and
Mm-hmm.
Dylan was like, debate me. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not hypocritical of him to shit talk anyone, but the moment you shit talk him, oh no, you gotta pay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, Jesse's group of people, I think, were really I guess the major people to really fight back. I think Gamer Guide like sued Dillon or some shit like that. Like there was like legal action there, but
We sued him. Oh.
yeah, apparently I'm not
Oh,
sure
okay.
of like all the details, but there was the whole bullshit with Gamer Guide. I think Dylan made a video talking shit about Gamer Guide, and Gamer Guide had DMCA'd said video. And then,
Oh.
yeah, and then Dylan and them were going back and forth, and I think it was eventually like, settled out of court, you know, like some sort of settlement was reached, from my understanding. But yeah, Gamer Guide, he's got a video on it, and like he mentions bringing in lawyers, like bringing in a lawyer, and basically the lawyer's like, yeah, you fucked up, buddy, but yeah, this
Shit.
Dylan guy also fucked up. So yeah,
I did
that's
not know that.
yeah. I mean, that's. I think it was more Dylan was going after Gamer Guide because of the false DMCA more than anything. But
Wow.
yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a time, and yeah, I mean, other than that, I think really just these people were like the first people like really fought back against him, or like the first like
Mm.
real like major pushback against this bullshit.
Yeah.
And then he basically
Because I
his
will
whole
say,
yeah, I mean his whole arc basically just turned into like Dylan versus the farms. He was like trying to convince the farms, oh no, Jesse's totally a pedophile, and then they were like, yeah, you're full of shit. I mean, yeah, Jesse's a weirdo, but you're full of shit, you know?
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because you can kind of tell that he's getting more and more frequent with his manic episodes. I've really noticed, like,
Yeah.
really full on freaking out.
I mean, you were talking about how, like, he was talking about the whole Doodle Tone situation is kind of like he was talking about, like, a scorned lover. I mean, like, whenever that situation went down, but, I mean, it kind of felt like that with Jesse to a certain extent because, like, there's DMs on the farms where they, they were talking and, Dylan's like, fuck you, Jesse, I know your people are fucking with me. I know you're behind this. Yep, so. And then, yeah, that was just honestly pathetic, and, like, you can just see, like, the whole, like, arc happened, the whole Jesse cancellation arc have really just happened because Dylan wanted to, like, basically he thought Jesse was behind the trolling that Dylan was getting after they broke up,
Mm-hmm.
and he was trying to cancel Jesse to make him quit, but that intensified it because Jesse's people actually did start
Yeah.
fucking with him at that point.
Right.
Yep.
I like to call that conspiracy mode when he's panicking and he's angry and then, he starts going manic and then that's when he just starts going into that mode and just starts coming up with all this crazy stupid fucking shit.
Yeah, I remember, like, during the whole like during that saga, still, like, one of the follow-up videos he made, he's like, alrighty, I know Jesse's people are behind this because you see these people trying to hack into all of my accounts, and then somebody with a Kisaku email address, like, because, like, True, like, that's one of the people who used to hang out with, like, True Blue Fuse, he really likes this hentai called
Mm-hmm.
Kisaku, and it's fucking stupid, but, like, it's really fucking dumb, but yeah, apparently somebody emailed Dylan with a Kisaku email, and he's like, "Oh, that's true." So, yeah, yeah. So he was like basically losing his shit,
Yeah.
and like somebody signed his emails up for like a bunch of websites like gay porn and stuff and dating sites. And like, I wonder what the fuck his mailbox looks like at this point.
Oh god.
Yeah, yeah. He's I mean, that saga was crazy because, like, I mean, somebody even like tried to dox him too. So, like, that
Good
was like,
god.
I don't know who the fuck it was, but somebody found some public records and like found like a previous address he had lived at, and then like in his follow-up videos he's like, I don't live there, you see, I live here, and then he like shows his lease paper and like it shows his zip code where he's at to like help like narrow it down. Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Like, he shows his like lease agreement on YouTube. Yep. Anyways, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's we've heard a lot of crazy shit here tonight, and and yeah, this is gonna be a hell of a video, honestly. But yep,
Yeah.
yep. Anyways, yeah,
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you don't get like. I hope that little pest doesn't bother you.
good fucking luck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Really.
I mean, he's fucked with me once before, but that kind of like Streisand affected and kind of blew up into the whole thing where he left the internet. So I think he knows better at this point, or he might not though.
He might.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're you're welcome, and yeah, it was crazy listening to
Alrighty.
this story, and yep. Okay, yep, and I
Yeah.
think that's all, guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it here.